Hi everyone, and welcome to another installment of Hump Day Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been super warm the last few days in London, and I know when it gets hot like this, it's really hard to stay motivated, essentially. So I wanted to do a class that has a really nice slow flow element to it, so we'll still be working hard, but it'll just more feel like you're really working through all the kinks and stiff spots in your body, kind of like you're almost a dirty sponge. You're just giving yourself a big wring out so that you feel really fresh and rejuvenated afterwards. So let's get started. So we'll start seated today, nice square cross leg position. If you know that it's helpful for you to sit up on the edge of a folded blanket or towel or cushion just to help tilt your pelvis into a more neutral position, please feel free to do so. So you can fold it over like this and sit right up on the edge if you wish. Ooh. And then once you're feeling really comfortable and settled, let your hands rest comfortably at your knees. And then softly begin to close down your eyes. And draw some awareness and intention to your breath as you breathe in and out through the nose. Not trying to actively change or alter the breath just yet. Simply noticing its rhythm and texture. And just using this focus and intention to help bring you onto your mat and into this space for your practice today. And as you feel yourself beginning to settle onto the mat, scanning your awareness through the full body, so noticing how your body is feeling, whether it's feeling maybe a little fatigued or energetic, what areas might be feeling sore or stiff, and similarly what areas might be feeling really open and broad. And acknowledge and feel that connection of your tailbone and the seat bones and your pelvis into the floor beneath you, or that cushion, blanket or towel. Feel that connection of the earth ground you. And as you inhale, have a sense of the breath traveling slightly up through the spine so that you can feel the spine lift and lengthen. Crown of the head growing a little taller towards the sky. And at the same time, let that next exhalation just drop your chin ever so slightly down towards your chest so that the back of your neck feels really nice and long. And there's a softness around the neck, jaw and shoulders, so you're not holding any tension there whatsoever. Good. And then again, once more, just thinking and focusing on that breath. Deep breath in and out through the nose. If there's something that you'd like to focus on during your practice today, and that focus doesn't need to be physical, it can be mental or emotional, or it could be an energy that you would like to bring to the surface, to share with the world, just let that bubble up and rise up into your awareness now. And take these next few breaths to set it as an intention for your practice. And similarly, if nothing comes to mind, that's okay. Just continue to enjoy and focus on those nice, easy breaths in and out. Good. Lovely. On your next exhalation, we'll softly let the eyes reopen and becoming adjusted to the light in the room once more. Keep a stronger grip around the knees, and as you inhale, take a slight upper back extension, lifting the heart center and the gaze just slightly. And then as you exhale, drop your chin down towards your chest, curve through the spine, and you can almost rock back onto the tailbone, so you're holding onto your knees. Inhale, upper back extension, shoulders relaxed, no tension in the jaw or the neck, and then exhale, curl. So this is a little bit like our cat-cow posture, but a little bit of asana. But the movement is more subtle and slow. And obviously we're not kneeling, so it's kinder on the knees if you do have any tension or soreness in the knees. Now the next time that you exhale into your curve, just pause there for a couple of breaths. And I want you to try to imagine that you're tracing a semicircle along your chest with the edge of your chin. So keeping the gaze down. You can close the eyes again if you like. And what we're doing here is just working out any kinks that might be felt in the back of the neck. And if you feel like there's a sweet spot where you think, oh yes, I'm really feeling that stretch just there, feel free to hold for a couple of breaths until you feel that part of your neck and your upper back soften and open. And then you continue on with the flow. And then again, stopping wherever you need to. Good. Before returning the chin towards the center of your chest, and then inhale, come back to an upright seated position. Take hands to prayer, heart center. Let's move through 3 rounds of our circle of joy. So we'll interlace our fingers, and on an inhale, draw the elbows apart, but resist with your fingertips. And then as you exhale, press the palms forward, chin to chest, curving through the spine. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, working out through both sides of the torso, shoulders away from ears. And then exhale, take those hands behind you, interlace those fingers. Inhale, big open heart breath. Ooh, could feel that little crack in my spine then. And then exhale, release the hands back to prayer. And again, interlace those fingers. Inhale, big open heart breath. It feels like there's balloons filling in your chest. And then exhale, we curve and press away. Inhale, we sit up nice and tall. And then exhale, those hands come behind. Interlace those fingers. Inhale, open heart stretch. Maybe we lift the gaze. Exhale, the hands return back to prayer and hearts out. Down. One more time. This time change the cross of your fingers. So for a lot of us, that's going to be left fingers forward now. Inhale. Broad through the chest. Exhale, we press and curve away. You can let the weight rock back slightly. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. And then exhale, take those hands behind. Interlace those fingers. Keep the opposite cross here if you can. Inhale, big open heart breath. Wrists working together. And then exhale, the hands return to prayer at heart center. Good. From here, inhale, both arms up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, we take that left hand down towards the floor. Inhale through the right side of the body. And then exhale, we go into our side crescent stretch. So we want to make sure that the right bottom is really pressing down in towards the mat, that it's not shifting up off the mat or the prop. Good. And then as you exhale, there's a sense of really relaxing through the neck. So you're dropping the left shoulder, the left ear towards your left shoulder. Inhale, the heart center opens and rotates more open outwards. And you can look wherever is comfortable for the gaze. So that could be up at the top right hand, can be directly in front of you, or it can be down towards the floor. And we're still warming up, so go easy and soft on yourself here. I'm really feeling it in my neck today, personally. If you want to go deeper, of course, you can drop the elbow down or walk the hand a little further away, but make sure the right buttock stays down. One more deep breath in, and then as you exhale, we'll sweep that right hand forward. So you're coming back to your center line. And then inhale to come back upright. Exhale, the left hand comes down towards the mat. Inhale, reach up through the left side of the torso. So the right hand comes down, left side, the left hand comes up. Exhale, we come into that side crescent stretch. And again, just stop where you feel that first point of resistance. Inhale, feel the heart center open towards the front. Exhale, right ear down towards right shoulder so that you're really feeling that stretch through the left side of the neck. I'm really feeling it there today. Clearly, that's where I'm holding all my tension at the moment. And then as you hold for a few more breaths, you might be able to come a little bit deeper. It might not be as deep on this side, that's okay. Just keep breathing. Good. One more deep breath in, and then exhale again. We'll sweep that left hand forward to bring yourself back to your center line. Inhale the arms up. And then exhale, take hands to prayer at heart center. Good. From here, we're going to come into a boat posture. So I'm going to move the prop from underneath my hips because I want to be able to rock back onto my tailbone now. And I'm going to shift so that you can see a little bit more carefully here. So from here, our first step is to just wrap the arms around the legs. And then we're going to come up so that our tips of our toes are just hovering off the floor. This is point A. And if you want a really lovely gentle practice, or if you have any low back pain, you can just stay here, focusing on drawing your navel in towards the back of the spine. You are already working your abdominals here. Or if you want to move a little bit deeper, we can come come into the full boat posture. We bring the shins so that they're parallel to the earth beneath us, and you can maintain that grip on the legs, particularly if you have hip flexors that like to really sort of over grip, or they're feeling a little sensitive today, or the hands come out and we hold. And we're gonna hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we bring those knees back in, drop those toes back down. Good. Now you can either come up into that exact same variation, whether that's toes just hovering off or into the boat posture, or this time we'll come up and then we'll swim, and you'll see what I mean when we move into it. But basically it's a free fall movement, and by doing that I like it because I find it's distracting. Makes me think I'm not really doing an ab exercise, but also because you're continuing to move through different range of movements and different points of your pelvis, you're going to be working different parts of your abdominals. So we start the same way, just the toes hovering off to begin with. Then those shins come up parallel. Establish your strong position first, and then when you're ready you can begin to swim. So it's really sort of, I guess, more like floating in water, and it's playing with where your weight rests on your pelvis and your buttocks. Try to keep your chest soft and your shoulders relaxed, and you can have a little play of how high the legs come up. Maybe they cross or move in opposition. Keep thinking about trying to draw your navel in towards the back of your belly though, so that you're scooping or hollowing out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Nearly fell backwards. And then come back in. Press those feet back down onto the mat. You can just take a moment in your coded gag. Forehead resting on the knees. Good. Inhale the forehead back up off the knees, and then we'll just come to our tabletop by bringing those knees to one side and then pressing back up into our tabletop. From here, we have the knees directly underneath the hips, and just take a little moment to begin to warm up through the wrists. So you're thinking about really spreading those fingers wide and pressing every part of the hand and fingertip into the floor. And we're just going to take a little sway from side to side. So personally, I'm someone who has a lot of neural tension that stems from in between my shoulder blades, and it runs all the way down my arms and into my wrists. So I have a lot of issues with my wrists. They hold a lot of pain sometimes. So these kind of positions where my wrist is really flexed and I'm bearing weight through my hands can be really triggering for me. So I really like to give my wrists a really good warm up. So I go side to side, a little bit of a circle in both directions. Just getting my wrists used to bearing weight and stretching all those tiny little muscles that wrap the front and back of my wrists. And now that they're feeling a little bit warmer, I'm also just going to walk out my hands. So changing with the direction of where my fingers are pointing and the space between them. And again, I might want to bend my elbows a little bit. And all I'm really doing is just having a little play and really just working through all the angles of my wrist. Trying to think of my hands as being quite responsive to the floor beneath me. Yeah. So our hands are obviously very tactile. They receive a lot of sensations day to day. But normally they're around objects. Yeah. Not really necessarily the floor, but I'm trying to bring that same level of attention to the floor when I move around. And again, I can bring that weight a little bit more forward into my hands just to increase that. Good. And now I'm going to come back towards my central alignment, and I want to move into our puppy pose variation. So again, I'll just pivot so you can see. So with our puppy pose, we are keeping our hips above our knees, and then we walk the hands further forward and we drop the chest down towards the floor so that our forehead can reach. So this is point A. We'll take a few breaths here. Very deep opener for the shoulder girdle. And just a nice different way to come into a rest posture, I think. I love child's pose, of course, but sometimes it's nice to do something different. Good. Couple of breaths here. You want to think about your heart always being heavy. And I like to think of my heart being light for most yoga postures, but in this one, it's heavy and it's just going to sink down to the floor. Good. On your next inhalation, come slightly out of the posture, and then we're going to place elbows down onto the floor instead, and we're going to just change that dynamic of the stretch slightly. So it's the same idea of the chest and the forehead reaching towards the floor,
But now my elbows are bent and my palms are pressed together in a kind of reverse prayer. And I'm going to try to bring the hands a little bit closer down towards the back of my neck. And I can almost send my weight back a little bit more towards the tailbone through my pelvis. Shifting my weight back towards my heels. And again, I'm just holding here for a few breaths. So I'm getting a good upper arm stretch here, a little tricep stretch. And I'm just accessing a different part of my shoulder girdle in this stretch. But another really good opener. Couple of breaths here. And then inhale. Bring those palms back down towards the floor. Exhale, walk your hands back underneath you. Good. From here, tuck toes under, and then exhale. We're going to hover those knees off the mat. And we're going to hold for a count of 10. Choose if you want to keep that static, or again, if you want to go rock from side to side. 10. Maybe some circles. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Softly lower those knees back down towards the floor. Untuck your toes. Let's move through our thread the needle posture. So as we inhale, we're bringing the left arm up towards the sky. Big open twist, let the hips sway freely. And then exhale, reach with that left arm to thread towards the opposite wall. Inhale, big open twist. Look at those fingertips. Exhale, we thread and reach. You really contract through your obliques to see if you can stretch that a little bit further. Inhale, one last big open twist. And then exhale, we reach. And this time we release the left side of the head and the left shoulder completely onto the floor. We'll hold here for a couple of breaths. Press actively through the palm of the right hand, or maybe come up to fingertips. And you want to try to stack your right shoulder on top of your left. And we're going to hold here. Nice deep breath in and out. Really relax through the back of your neck. Such a simple yet effective pose. And a really, really good one to do first thing in the morning if you're feeling a little stiff after you've woken up. Or similarly at the end of the day if you've had a bit of a stressful day, and particularly if you've worked in front of a laptop all day, a computer, or done anything that's got a lot of repetitive motions through the shoulders and upper arms. Next exhalation, we press through that right hand, then we come back to that tabletop and move straight onto the left side. So inhale that. So right side, really inhale that right arm up nice and high. Exhale, we thread and reach you. And again, it's an oblique twist here. Really reach towards the opposite wall. Inhale, big open twist. Exhale, we thread and reach through. Inhale, big open twist. Exhale, thread and reach through. This time, release the right shoulder and the right side of the head onto the floor. Deep breath in. Exhale, press a little bit more firmly through the palm of that left hand to deepen the stretch. Stacking left shoulder on top of right, and hold here for a number of breaths. Really opening up through the back of that right shoulder blade. Good. One more deep breath in, and then exhale. Let's bring those hands back towards your tabletop. This time, walk your hands further away from your shoulders. Really spread those fingers wide. We'll tuck our toes under, and as we exhale, press the earth away from us to come to our first downward facing dog. So you see here, I'm really thinking about rotating my shoulders out and up the spine, so I'm not letting them hover up by my ears. And I'm sending my tailbone up nice and high, working heart center towards my thighs. Good. From here, you can begin to walk your dog for a few rounds. Alternate heel presses. So we bring the right heel down and we bend the left knee, and then we swap over. Left heel comes down, right knee bends. And move as fast or as slow as feels right for you. Sometimes a little bit more speed, whistle nice. Other times, the slower and steady approach feels better. And then a little bit more movement can come into the hips as well if you just want to change that stretch. A little bit more through the torso, but also through the outside edges of your lower leg, and then into the ankle. Good. The next time that you heel press to the left, let that be your last one. Inhale to the balls of both feet, working to a slightly higher downward dog. Maybe straightening the legs now if that's within your range of motion. When you're ready, we'll take a big exhale inside and feel those heels melt on towards the floor really effortlessly. Good. Lovely. And then today, let's walk those feet in towards the hands. Little tiny micro movements. Slow and steady. Only the bending the knees as you need to. coming to your first standing forward fold. So knees are nice and bent here so that the belly or the chest can rest on the thighs, and just give your head a couple of nods and shakes just to release any tension you might be feeling there. Good. There's still a slight sense of those shoulders lifting up the spine, but they're relaxed at the same time. I know that seems like an oxymoron, but you can do it. As you inhale, let's come to a halfway lift. Hands come to shins, and we make our way to a flat back position. Weight forward into the balls of the feet. Exhale, hungry rib cage sucks back down onto the thighs. Knees can bend once more. Let's do that again. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening through the spine, through the back of the neck. And then exhale, we soften and fold down. Good. Let's rock as we roll up today. So we'll begin by taking a little bit of a sway from side to side, feeling the fingertips trace the floor. And even here, just acknowledge how it's changing the stretch through the back of your hamstrings. And then engage your core muscles, and on an exhale, begin to roll up through the spine while still maintaining that sway. Take it nice and slow. So that you inhale up, your shoulders and head last to come to standing. Okay, so we're going to move into a couple of standing postures, because I liked last hump day where we did quite a lot of standing postures before we came down towards the mat. A little unconventional, but hey. And we'll be doing something that's a bit more dancery today. So I want you to take your feet out nice and wide, toes slightly turned out, as though you were coming into your moon goddess posture. Okay? And essentially, this is what we call in dance, of course, the plie, but it is also like a squat, but turned out. I want you to think about your tailbone dropping down towards the floor. And I want you to think about your knees continuing to track over your toes. So you don't want them to move in or out, they stay directly over the toes. There's two ways that you can do this. The first way is just to have the hands really relaxed by your front and be thinking, really focusing on the spine, just moving up and down. If you want a little bit of arm toning as well, hands and arms come out as though you're in your warrior two. And then exhale. I'm going to take that little bit of a bend, and then inhale, we come back up. So we're externally rotating out through the legs. You don't have to go very low. It can be quite a small bend of the knee. But of course, by doing this, we're warming up the knees and the thighs. And I want you to think as though, what's a good analogy? I don't know why, but for some reason I'm thinking of the mercury in a thermometer, of it moving up and down, and it's moving completely vertically here. So the spine just moves up and down vertically. It doesn't move forwards or backwards. So we're just going to take a couple more of those. Really think about reaching out with your fingers if your arms are out by your sides. Core is engaged, navel drawing in towards the back of the spine. Exhale. On your next little plie, hold there. Yeah. And there's two things you can do here. You can either take tiny little mini pulses, if that floats your boat. Or if you want to challenge your balance, you can lift those heels off the floor and see if you can hold that. Woo. Or you can maybe try and combine both. Woo. And then drop it back down. Now your thighs are probably burning. Great. Now let's exhale and release more into your moon goddess posture. Yeah, so you've really worked the legs in that external rotation already. So they should feel really like, yes, this is nice. Now I want to move into this stretch. Make sure you've got a little micro bend in your elbows so you're not locking into that joint, but your shoulders can be up by your ears. And this time, instead of taking a twist of the spine, I want you to instead think about just rocking your weight from the right and left foot. And notice how that changes the stretch on your inner thigh. It's very soft and subtle. Good. It should feel really nice on your inner groin and in your hip. So good. Good. Inhale. Straighten out through those legs, just taking the hands back to your hips. And then we're going to heel and toe the feet together. Coming to a very traditional mountain posture today, toes touching, heels slightly apart. Think about spreading energy down through the soles of the feet into the floor. And then as you exhale, engage your core muscles, bring weight into the left leg, and then let's bring this right knee up towards the chest. See if you can bring it up without your hands first, and then reach with the hands to wrap around the knee. Good. Squeeze right knee in towards the chest. Wonderful. Take a couple of circles of the ankles in both directions. Before coming back to stillness, And we'll take that same little twist that we did last week. So we take left hand onto the outside edge of that right knee, and then we come into a little bit of a twist towards our right. Looking at those back right fingers, it feels comfortable for the neck. Keep thinking about activating through the supporting left leg, pressing out through the sole of the left foot. Feel free to stay with the knee bent, or the leg can extend. We hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you unwind? Bring the right knee back into the chest. Have a little moment of lift before you slowly lower right foot back down towards the mat. And again, find your stance. Think about really pressing out energy for the soles of the feet, lifting and lengthening through the legs and the torso. And then it's like almost like you're reacting to heat on the floor. This left knee comes up. And then we wrap and squeeze. Good. Active bicep curl as you continue to draw the left knee towards the chest, but drop your left hip towards level with the right. And then take a couple of circles of those ankles in both directions. Good. Keep the knee a little raised. Wrap this time the right hand on the outside edge of the left knee, and the left fingers come back. Maybe we turn to look at the left hand. And again, we hold. Feel free to keep that left leg bent, or it can extend. And we'll hold for 5, 4, keep pressing out through the sole of the right foot. 3, 2, 1. And again, imagine there's heat now on the sole of that foot. It's going to come back in without any help from the hand. And then we lower back down. Good. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. And we'll roll back down through our spine. Preparing to move through a couple more vignettes of those. Exhale, we roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Until we come all the way to Uttanasana. Inhale to a halfway lift of your choice. You might already be able to come to fingertips if you're feeling quite warm. And then exhale, we soften and fold down. Good. This time we'll walk the hands out and we'll come into our full plank. And we're going to hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften those knees down towards the mat. Elbows are tight to the body, and we're going to lower slowly down onto the mat. Walk the legs out long. Press the tops of the feet and your pubic bone into the floor. And then inhale, lengthen through the back of the spine to lift up into a gentle baby cobra. So shoulders relax. Good. Exhale, we roll back down. So that was a little warm up. Let's come up once more. Inhale, big length through the spine to lift you up. Ponytails in my way. Shoulders relax. You can take those hands off and nothing should really change on the spine. And then exhale, we soften back down. Good. See if you can almost reverse snake back up now. So you're almost kind of going into your puppy posture. Before you go hands and knees and press back to downward facing dog. Wonderful. Inhale, lift the right leg up nice and high, and then exhale, scoop it in between the hands, lightly landing at the top of your mat. And then drop that left knee down again. Feel free to use your cushion or your blanket to pad that back left knee if you need to. Inhale, press through the sole of the right foot, lift those arms up, and then exhale. Let's come to cactus arms today. Thinking about sending the hips towards the floor and the back left thigh working towards the top of your mat. Good. Open and broad through the center of your chest, dropping shoulders away from your ears, maybe lifting the gaze slightly if it's comfortable for your neck. Actively pressing through the sole of the right foot. One more deep breath in, and then exhale. Take both hands back down towards the mat, and we'll move through some retractions. So we work towards straightening this front right leg, and we relax the torso down and across the leg. And then inhale, we come back for the easy half lunge, weight onto fingertips, so you're staying nice and broad and open through the chest. And exhale, we come back in. Inhale, we come forwards. Exhale, we come back. Inhale, we come forwards. And if you want to change the angle of the arms, so you're working into that hip socket or the angle of the toes, feel free to do so. Make sure that your knee is always staying pointing out over your toes though. Yeah, so they work together in alignment. Basically, you're just having a little explore of that right hip socket. And noticing which parts of that front right leg need a really good stretch. Before we come back to center, ground your hands back down, tuck your back toes under, straighten that back leg, and then press back into downward facing dog. Mixing up the flow. You can stay with your half plank and cobra, or perhaps you like to inhale forward to your full plank. Exhale, lower the hips till they're just hovering off the floor. Inhale to a variation of upward dog, and my wrists are nice and happy here. Exhale, press back, because I warmed them up so well earlier. And then inhale, lift that left leg up nice and high. Exhale, scoop the knee towards the head, so you're lightly landing that left foot at the top of the mat. And then again, we lower the back right knee, pad it with a cushion if you need to. Press through the sole of the left foot, inhale up, easy lunge. Exhale, relax through those shoulders as you come to cactus arms. Think about drawing the front of that right thigh towards the front of your mat, bringing pelvis more into a neutral alignment. Lift the gaze slightly if that feels comfortable for you. Good. Couple of nice smiles and nice breaths here. Yeah, it's nice to smile when you practice yoga. It's serious, sure, but you know, it can be lighthearted as well. Exhale, take both hands back down towards the mat, and then again we retract. So stay with the square neutral alignment to begin with. Working towards straightening that front left leg as you retract back, and relaxing through the back of the neck and the torso. And then when you feel like you're feeling a little bit more through that square alignment, again, you can change the angle of the position of the foot and the knee, moving your hands as needed. As long as you feel supported and safe, there's not really a wrong answer here. Again, as long as the knees stay pointing out over the toe all the time. Good. Next time that you inhale back to your neutral alignment, frame the front foot, tuck your back toes under, and then press back into downward facing dog. Move through another vinyasa flow of your choice, half plank or full. Maybe we move through full chaturanga dandasana this time. Keep your elbows tight to the body. Then create a little shelf for the torso. Full upward facing dog, hips are still off the floor, but the toes are tucked under. And then press back. Good. Next inhalation, we lift that right leg up nice and high again, and then again we draw the knee towards the head to lightly land that foot there. Good. From here, inhale up, high lunge. Exhale, cactus arms once more. Imagine that you're ripping the mat apart with your feet. Good. Okay, sorry, I had to stop to put up my hair. It's pretty hot. So we have our hands in cactus position, and we're thinking about really trying to rip that mat apart from underneath us as we hold here. Lifting and lengthening up through the spine. And then exhale, can we twist towards your... That doesn't work. Sorry, I had to stop to put my hair up and also change the camera position, but we're in our high lunge, hands in cactus. Thinking about trying to rip that mat apart, hips are really square to the short end of our mat. Inhale to lift and lengthen a little bit through the heart center, and then exhale, let's take a twist towards our left, hook that left elbow onto the outside edge of the leg, and the palms come to prayer and heart center. Pressing down through the palms to deepen your twist and look out over right shoulder. Pause here for a couple of breaths. You should feel like you're lengthening start through the spine, so there's this really great diagonal line from that back left heel all the way to the crown of your hand. And of course, there's the option to drop the back knee if that's just feeling a little bit too intense for you today. To release, we're going to inhale to unwind, back up to high lunge, and then exhale, both hands come back down towards the mat, and we press back into downward facing dog. Relax through the back of the neck. Feel free to hold here in your downward dog, just enjoying the warmth that's built up in this posture, or you can take a few moments in your puppy pose once more. If you want to build through that vinyasa flow, then you can do so in your own pace. Inhale forwards to full half plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale into a cobra or a variation of your upward dog. Exhale back out over knees and toes. And we'll take the same flow on the left. So we inhale, left leg up nice and high. Exhale, sweep it to the front of the mat, in between your hands. Whoop. Inhale up. Exhale, cactus arms. I'm going to think about ripping that mat apart, stretching out through the legs. Deep breath in. Exhale. Can we come into that little twist? Now it's the right elbow that comes to the outside edge of the left thigh. We come to prayer. We press through the palms and we twist a little deeper, looking over the left shoulder. Again, you can drop down that back right knee if that feels right for you. Couple of breaths here. Keep the face soft and relaxed. Keep thinking about dropping pelvis a little bit more towards the floor. And then we inhale to unwind. Exhale, hands back down towards the mat. And then press back into downward facing dog. Good. We hold here or we move through a vinyasa flow. If you move through a vinyasa flow, as you inhale forward, really think about bringing the weight forward. Exhale, lengthen through the spine even as you lower. Inhale into a cobra or an upward dog. Exhale back up over knees and toes. Thinking about rotating those shoulders down up the spine. Okay, moving on. Inhale the right leg up nice and high. Exhale again, we scoop the knee towards the head to come into our high lunge. We're actually going to stay here. Now we're going to do our retractions, but with straight legs. Yeah? So we retract back, working so that we're on the heel of this front right leg. Both legs are working towards being straight, hips square. Relax over the front foot. And then inhale, come back to the high lunge. You can walk those hands forward and backward as you need. And exhale, we come back. And then inhale forwards. Good. As you exhale to come back, you can even try to work up into the ball of that back left leg. Inhale forward. Good. Drop your back left knee, and then we're going to come all the way back into a sort of half split here. You're going to try to make sure your hips are square and you're sitting back on the heel. Now, if that feels a little intense on the knee, that flexion, you can press a blanket underneath there, which will take some of the pressure out. Also be a bit more cushioning for your bottom as well. That's personal preference. We want to keep those hips square. And from here, all we're going to do is try and encourage that heart center forward once more. So again, if you're here and you're thinking this is really uncomfortable on my supporting left knee, even with the cushion, then please come out. Just keep working for those retractions we were just doing. But if you feel comfortable here, we're going to hold for a couple of breaths. Try to keep pressing out through the sole of the right foot, toes staying up towards the sky. Good. Inhale to come back upright, and now let's see if we can come forward again without using our hands. Toes tuck under, high lunge. Good. Exhale, the hands come back, and then we press back into downward facing your dog. And again, you're holding here, maybe you're moving into a child's posture. Whatever feels right for your practice. If you want to keep building heat, we inhale forwards. We exhale to lower. Inhale into a cobra or an upward dog. Exhale back out over those knees and toes as you're ready. Relax through the neck. Give it a couple of nods and shakes of the head if you need to. We'll take the same sequence on the left. So inhale, left leg up. Exhale, we lightly land that left foot at the top of the mat. Stay within supported high lunge, and we work towards straight legs this time as we retract back. Relax over that front leg, and then inhale forward. Exhale, retract back. We're working up with the ball of the right foot this time. Keep thinking about trying to keep those hips square. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. Inhale forwards. Last time. Exhale back. Inhale forwards, and again you can keep working with the retractions, or you can press back into our downward facing dog, maybe rest in child's posture, or we're coming into our half split. Yeah, so I'm going to pivot this time so you can see the angle on the other way. Yeah, so I'm sitting up on my right heel, and again this might be strong enough already, just staying supported here, or you can exhale and bring that heart center forward. You want to keep bringing those toes up towards the sky, pressing out through the heel. Hands are just wherever you feel the need for them to be, so that you feel supported and in control of the stretch. So we're taking advantage of the heat that is naturally present in the world right now, hot summer's day. So we haven't really done a huge amount of vinyasa, but if you're like me and you're doing this foolishly right in the middle of the day, you'll be sweating and your muscles should hopefully feel really limber and warm already. So we're going to take some nice big deep stretches here. Good. And then we inhale to roll back up, and again we're going to try to come back to high lunge without using our hands for support. So we come back to the half, tuck toes, inhale. Good, exhale, the hands come down towards the floor, and then we press back into downward facing dog, adjusting as we need to. Good. Lovely. Let's all drop the knees down towards the mat, and we're going to come back to that puppy pose once more. Notice if you feel like you can sink a little bit more easily into the posture. Where can you let go of tension? And take a couple of breaths here. Good. Inhale to come back up. Tuck your toes under. Press back into downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg up nice and high to the sky now. Big open three-legged dog. Exhale, bring the right heel down towards the buttocks. And either hold here, focusing on dropping left heel towards the floor, or you can lightly land that right foot to the outside edge of the mat and come into your wild thing for a few breaths. Make sure that left leg is long and right leg is bent. You're bringing your hips up towards the sky, looking wherever is comfortable for the neck. And then when you're ready to come out, it's this right hand that brings you back around into three-legged dog. And we'll transition into king pigeon posture. So we're bringing the right knee behind the right wrist, with the right foot ending up close-ish to left wrist. And you should be able to turn and look at that back left leg and make sure it's falling directly straight out from your hips. So what I don't want to see is any toes peeking out from the side. Good. Check in with your right knee if you're feeling happy here. If it's not, then you can come into your thread the needle glute posture instead, or you can come into a modified deer posture. If you are happy here, inhale for a moment into the balls, the tips of your fingers. And then exhale, we surrender down. And we just stop where we feel that first point of resistance. And we hold there. Relax through the back of your neck. Couple of breaths here. Allow the right hip and the right buttock to slowly soften and open and release. Maybe you can come a little lower, perhaps stacking the forehead onto two fists, or even just one fist, or flat palms. Or maybe the forehead comes onto the mat itself and you can reach those fingers forward. But wherever you are, make sure you keep communicating with your body and notice if you're feeling any strong resistance. Yeah, so there's always going to be some resistance, but do you feel like your body is actively pushing back, or is it merely making a little bit of noise? Yeah, if it's making a little bit of noise, you can be like, shh, calm down, everything's gonna be fine. If you feel your body pushing back, that could be a sign that you just need to ease out of the posture ever so slightly. When you feel your body go, oh yeah, that feels a little bit nicer, that's when you can hold. Take some nice deep breaths in and out. Focus on sending the breath into the body part that you feel to stretch the most. And then maybe, on that third or fourth exhalation, you can find that sink and surrender that you were looking for. And then to come out, we inhale to look forward. We walk those hands back in to frame the front foot. We tuck our back toes under. And then we exhale to press back into downward facing dog. Take a couple of walks over your dog just to get the blood flowing back into that right leg, particularly the back of the right knee socket, before returning to stillness. And we'll take the same sequence on the left. So we inhale the left leg up nice and high, three-legged dog. Open up through the hip. Keep dropping the right heel down towards the mat. You can bend through the left knee, drawing the left heel towards the buttocks. And again, feel free to stay here, just enjoying that front of thigh stretch. Or you're dropping the left foot to the outside edge of your mat, straight right leg, and we come into our wild thing. Variation of the back bend. Hold for a couple of breaths. This might be too strong on the wrist, and that's okay, you can come out. Keep sending those hips up high. And when you're ready to come out, the left hand will come back. We transition into our three-legged dog, and then exhale, the left knee ends up somewhere beside that left wrist, and then the left foot is somewhere behind right wrist. Yeah, so you kind of want to be square and framed towards the short end of your mat. Look back, make sure your right foot is falling out directly from behind the hip, and not splaying off to the side. Inhale up into fingertips. Check in with your knee and your lower back. Do you feel happy here? If you don't, come out, let's find a different posture. If you are, exhale, we lower down. And there's natural asymmetry in your body, so one side will be tighter than the other. Just be mindful of that. That this might be your tight side. You might need to move with a little bit more softness and kindness into the posture. Deep breaths in and out. close down your eyes. Don't worry about what you look like. Don't worry about what you looked like last week compared to now. Simply notice and acknowledge how you feel. Send the breath with every deep inhalation in towards the left hip and the left buttock. Flooding those cells, tissues and fiber with oxygen, with prana. And then maybe you can sink and lower down a little bit more. Maybe completely releasing towards the floor. Only if that feels comfortable for you. And then we'll hold there for a few breaths. To release, we inhale to look forward. Exhale, we walk those hands back in to frame the front leg. This time we're just going to exhale and roll off onto the left hips and the left buttocks. Use your right hand to help bring that right knee in place. And if you're feeling a little tense behind the back of that left leg or left knee, give it a little massage. We'll give those legs a little bit of a shake. Good. Beautiful. From here, let's come into our sage posture. So walk the flesh out from underneath the buttocks. So you're sitting up really nice and tall on your sit bones as you're preparing your rod posture, Dandasana. And then we'll pick this right foot up and we'll bring it into the inside edge of the leg. Or a little bit more advanced outside edge. But make sure the right buttock doesn't come off the floor. You want to make sure it's pressing down. From here, take the right hand behind and then inhale your left arm up to the sky. As you exhale, you either want to hook your left elbow to the outside edge of the right knee, or you want to wrap it. Both options are valid. Choose whichever one feels right for you. Inhale to grow a little taller. Exhale, deepen the twist. And turn to look over that right shoulder. Now, when I wrap, I tend to feel a stretch more in my right buttock and my right rotators, and sometimes that's what I like. If I want to feel it a bit more in my spine, then I find the hook is better, because I can really feel that stretch more up and towards the upper body. Deep breaths in and out. A little bit of engagement through your abdominals here. Draw that navel in towards the back of your spine. One more deep breath in. And then exhale, gently unwind from the twist. Before we release this leg, we're going to take one more little stretch. Reach with your left hand to hold the outside edge of the right foot. And then see if you can lift it up into a cross mount. Yeah, you might not be able to completely straighten the right leg, and that's okay. But you want to think about lifting and lengthening through the torso. And this right hand is either acting as a counterbalance, or it can be on the floor for support. I like the counterbalance because I like to feel that cross-diagonal stretch through my whole body. Big internal twist. A few deep breaths in and out here. Exhale, can you contract through your core muscles and then let go? And then lower with control, sitting up nice and tall. Good. Again, give yourself a little shake if you need to. Walk the flesh out from underneath the buttocks. We'll take the same variation on the other side now. So we draw the left foot in, either onto the inside edge or the outside edge of the right leg. The left hand comes behind. Inhale, right arm up towards the sky. Wrap or hook as your preference as you come into that twist towards your left. Inhale to grow a little taller. Exhale, deepen the twist, looking out over the left shoulder. Make sure you're not putting too much weight into that back left hand. You should be able to pick it up, give me a wave, and drop it back down, and nothing should really change too much in that twist. Deep breaths in and out. Keep pressing out through the sole of the left foot. One more deep breath in. And then exhale, unwind from the twist. Reach with your right hand to hold onto the outside edge of that left foot, and then we come into that little cross mount. Good. And again, this front leg doesn't have to be, or the lifted leg doesn't have to be completely straight. It's quite a strong neural stretch. You're just working towards it. And then either keep the left hand on the floor for support, or lengthen out. Huge, big internal twist, diagonal cross body stretch through the torso, legs and arm. Deep breaths in and out. And then again, continue to hold there, or if you want to challenge the core, release the leg and hold for breath before lowering with control. Good. Draw those knees in towards the chest. Wrap the arms around the legs. Exhale, forehead onto the knees. Whew. Just take a couple of breaths there in your cosmic egg and really let the weight rock back onto your tailbone and let go of any last lingering tension that you might be feeling around the spine, particularly at the back of the shoulder blades. Inhale the forehead back up off the knees and we'll transition down towards our relaxation today. Now I'd like to do that by preparing to move into our bound ankle posture, Baddha Konasana, or Supta Baddha Konasana, so lying down, bound ankle. So before you move into relaxation, feel free to take a little bit of time to have a drink of water. If you're somewhere where it's not stinking hot, put on an extra layer. And I'll meet you down there on the floor. So to come into bound ankle, if you're not there already, use your elbows to help roll you down. If you have a delicious little cushion or blanket and you want to pad the back of your head, feel free to do so. It's good if you've got a little bit of a bony skull or if you want to bring your neck into a more neutral alignment. And then we bring the soles of the feet together and then the knees are allowed to open up to the side. Now depending on your hips and pelvis and how your lower back is feeling, depends on how big or wide you want the diamond. So you can either have the heels quite close to your pelvis or you can take a wider diamond. Yeah, up to you. A wider diamond for me in this position, I feel like my hip, my femur, or the top of my femur is just kind of grinding into my hips, okay? So I don't love it. So for me, I'm happier with my heels closer to my pelvis, but that might not feel so good for your lower back. So just have a little play. Come to a position that feels right for you. Arms are either beside the body, palms facing upright, or you can take a little bit of a shoulder stretch and hold opposite elbow with opposite hand. Just whichever option feels best for you today. Take a few breaths here. And just really allow your body to sink and melt down into the floor. Hopefully feeling really nice and warm and open. But if you do feel like this is a little bit too intense of a position to be in for your relaxation, then you can take traditional Shavasana. Use your hands up, ease your legs out of the posture. Wherever you are, you can really feel the support of the earth beneath you. Embrace around the feet, legs, and particularly around the hips and the buttocks, and the lumbar spine. Notice and acknowledge your shoulder blades and the rib cage melt down towards the floor. Back of your arms are heavy. Meanwhile, the front of your body feels really light, open and spacious. There's no tension being held around the hips or the abdominals. Their hard work is done for the moment. Heart center is open and broad and collarbone soft, allowing for nice easy breaths in and out. Your arms are completely relaxed and your fingertips are gently curling in wherever they might be. And the jaw is completely relaxed, mouth softly closed. No tension around the chin, cheeks or eyes, particularly at the back of the eye socket. You can feel the whole back of your skull open and release. And if any thoughts bubble up into the mind, acknowledge them. Then gently press them to one side. Not letting anything intrude into this moment of peace and relaxation. Your Shavasana.
Slowly begin to draw the awareness back to the body now by taking a few deep breaths in and out. Really noticing your belly rise and fall. Perhaps taking an audible exhale out through the mouth. Bring a little bit of movement to fingers and toes, giving them a wriggle and feeling skin rub on skin. And then allow your head to turn from side to side, to massage through the back of the skull and to reawaken the neck. And finally, complete any last little movements that feel right for you. Perhaps bringing the hands to the outside edges of the thighs if you're still in your bound ankle posture, to help guide the knees close together. Then you can draw the knees in towards the chest, wrap them around for another final hug and squeeze, rock from side to side. Or any other movements that feel right for you. Just let your instincts guide you. Only when you feel completely ready should you roll over onto your right side and pause there for a moment in a fetal position. Give your body one last chance to re-enter the space of the room. Keep the eyes closed. Use your hands to help gently press yourself up now into a comfortable seated or kneeling position. Hands moving to rest at the thighs and the knees. You really feel that lovely long length of the spine. And that gentle breath as it moves in and out through the nose. Notice any changes that your practice may have wrought today, whether those changes be in the breath, the body, mind, or at the heart center. Bring those hands together at prayer heart center, Anjali Mudra. Bow your forehead down towards your fingertips. Take this moment to truly thank yourself for taking the time out of your busy day to come and practice yoga. I'd like to conclude the class with one chant of the mantra Om. You can join in simply by listening, but if you'd like to chant with me, we'll synchronize the breath by all exhaling here, and then we'll take a deep breath in for Om. Carry these peaceful vibrations with you into the rest of the day and the rest of the week. Thank you for jumping online and following along with me for this practice today. It's always a privilege and an honor to share this digital space with you. If anyone has any questions at all, feel free to drop them in the comments. And please do hit subscribe so that you hear when I've released my latest videos. And if you want more info about the other kinds of teaching that I do or where else you can find me, then you can find the link to both my website and my Instagram page below as well. But otherwise, I really hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you again.